Hello, my name is Alejandro with AttorneyFee, AttorneyFee.com, an organization that researches the cost of different legal services. Today, I'm here to talk to you about demand letters. I receive a lot of questions through my website and through my legal forums about demand letters. People want to know what a demand letter is, how much it costs to send a demand letter. They want to know how to write it themselves, or if they should hire an attorney to send a demand letter. What are the different types of demand letters? So stay tuned and we'll go over some of those answers shortly. So what are the different types of demand letters? First of all, there is the most common one, which is the cease and desist letter. A cease and desist letter is, for example, when someone is stalking you or harassing you, or maybe they are posting comments on the internet that are defamatory comments that are attacking your reputation online. You would send them a cease and desist letter to ask them to stop. That's the end of it. You say, you need to stop doing this, otherwise there will be legal consequences. But now, demand letters, there are many different applications. For example, say you are a business owner and you send someone an invoice for a service that you performed and they didn't pay. You could send them a demand letter saying, you need to pay this invoice, otherwise there will be legal consequences, and that will be a demand letter for payment. For example, you could also send a demand letter when somebody is violating your copyrights. If they are using your logo without your permission, they are using your content, your images without your permission. You could send a demand letter if you're a landlord and a tenant is violating the contract, and you could say, you need to follow this contract, otherwise there will be legal consequences. If you go to a dealership and you purchase a car and the dealership lies to you regarding the condition of this car, you could send a demand letter to the dealership and say, look, this is not what you sold me. There will be legal consequences if you don't fix these issues, etc. So why is a demand letter important? In my opinion, the most valuable thing about a demand letter is that it's going to save you time and money. Remember, if you send a demand letter and you solve things through this letter, then you avoid having to hire an attorney and having to go to court and spend a lot of time and a lot of money in attorney's fees. Besides, when and if you actually wind up going to court, when the judge looks at this letter, it will serve as evidence that you tried to solve your case outside of court amicably. And also, the judge will read this letter, assuming you have a very good detailed letter, and the judge will understand the problem from your point of view, which is going to help your case. Now, getting to the question that many of you are wondering about, and is how much does a demand letter cost? Let's start by saying you don't have to have an attorney write the letter for you. You could write it yourself. But if you decide to hire an attorney, in my opinion, that's the best option. Why? Because the attorney has legal experience. He may have written letters like this before. And when you send a letter using the attorney's signature and the law firm letterhead, the letter is going to be taken seriously. So chances are that you're going to solve this situation without going any further, without having to go to court. Now, an attorney, if it's a solo attorney or an attorney who works for a small law firm, may charge you between $700 and $1,500 for drafting and sending that letter. Keep in mind, that doesn't count, or that doesn't keep into account the fact that if the attorney has to go to court, that would be a separate charge and maybe a separate agreement between you and the attorney. If you hire an attorney who works for a bigger law firm, or maybe the attorney has to do a lot of research for you, then the charges or the cost may be going way up. It might be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. There is an alternative, and this is AttorneyFee, the website I was mentioning before. AttorneyFee.com matches you with an attorney, a local attorney in your state, who can draft and send this demand letter for you. And they charge a flat rate fee of $375. That includes hiring the attorney, signing that agreement, drafting the letter, sending it, and getting back to you with any response that the attorney receives regarding this letter. So many people want to draft the demand letter themselves. They don't want to hire an attorney. They rather write it and send it themselves. And this is the difficult part, how to write a demand letter yourself. First of all, when you're writing the demand letter, there is a certain structure you should follow. And also, you have to watch for your language. Avoid making empty threats. Don't start the letter by saying you are going to take him to court, because that's the purpose of the letter, to settle things outside of court. First, I'm going to show you an example, either on my phone or my computer. Let me find my computer. Okay, here it is. And on this example, you are going to see the structure for a demand letter that was drafted by an attorney, but you want to customize it to make it work for you. First of all, you start the demand letter by saying the date. What's the date? Today is January 9th, 2021. You say via certified mail. That's how you're going to send the letter. To, which is then the name of the person who you're going to be sending the letter to, the address, and then regarding a cease and desist letter for harassment. This is the specific example we're going to be covering. So, first of all, you do the introductions, who you are and why you're sending this letter. In this case, please be advised that Mr. or Mrs. Doe, hereafter referred to as client, has retained my services in this matter. Let's remember, this is the letter that an attorney was, a supposed example that an attorney drafted for a client. The purpose of this letter is to demand that you immediately stop a series of unwarranted and defamatory attacks against client on various internet chat rooms. Your unwanted actions and baseless accusations had damaged client's reputation and adversely affected her business and personal life. So that was the introduction. That said who the person is and why they're writing the letter. Next, we're going to give examples of this defamation. We're going to mention those examples and make it really clear, again, why you're writing the letter. You have personally posted many defamatory, willfully false, and misleading comments about client. We have records of your defamatory statements, including your defamation of client on Instagram, mention the name of the channel, mention the date if you can. Then example number 2, defamation of client on YouTube. Mention the name of the YouTube channel. Mention the name of the date if you can. And then go on like that and keep mentioning different examples of when this person was doing the defamation online. Then we continue from that and we go ahead to make our demand. This is where it goes down on the letter and says, we hereby demand that you. And this is a very important section. You have to list every single demand that you have. It doesn't have to be one. It could be multiple demands. So make sure that you list them all. Number 1, immediately cease and desist in publishing the defamatory statements about client, whether the statements are made by you or third parties, and whether they refer directly to her name, online nicknames, or any other names that may identify her directly or indirectly. But again, it doesn't have to be only one. Say, for example, this letter is the demand letter for payment. You would say, you need to pay the X amount because you didn't pay this invoice by the due date. Number 2, but you also need to pay an additional fee because it has been 3 months that I have been reminding you to pay this invoice. Number 3, because you're late and because etc. etc. So you keep posting every single demand that you have. And finally, you close that letter by saying, what is it going to happen? What action are you going to take? And this is where you may say, if you don't comply with these demands by February 15th or any day that you consider appropriate, I'm going to take you to court. I'm going to explore all my legal rights. And my attorney is going to take charge on this matter. Then finally, you mention how they can contact you. Maybe it's appropriate that this person contacts you to resolve the matter. Maybe you want to list your phone number, your email, or your home address. Or maybe not. It depends on your particular situation. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that this was helpful to you. Please leave your comments down below on the comment section because I'm going to be watching them and responding to your questions. Please also subscribe to my channel because that way you don't miss any further episodes about different legal issues and how to save money on legal fees.